Hello, everybody, and welcome to session 7, lucky 7, of the Dragon Age Season 3 Tabletop campaign. We just had an amazing court edition of the People's Court Navarra in the last session, but now things after that seems to have been resolved, and we're going to move on to other things. So, before we do that, we're going to go and do a warm-up question. And the warm-up question for today is I would like for each player to please provide for us some sort of childhood memory, childhood story. It doesn't have to be anything specifically significant. It could be as simple as I went fishing with my dad and it was a very awesome bonding experience. It can be that simple of a memory. It can be sad, it can be happy, really it can be whatever you think might be an interesting tell. So
when Pasha thinks of childhood memories, she thinks of the first ever nickname that she got. Because Kunari don't have names, they have a string of numbers that identifies them, and up until they get their childhood nickname, they're just kind of like, come here, 4365, blah 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 blah, really long number code. And Pasha got her first nickname. She would follow the Tamazrans that she lived with all the time, just constantly following them. And she was helping them do laundry. She was carrying the sheets, toddling after them very happily. They were happy to let her follow. They were like, oh, she wants to help. Let's bring her along. And one of the older Tamazrans kind of saw her following and, like, oh, look at you with a little duckling. And that was her childhood nickname, Duckling.
Cute. Thank you for explaining that. Yes, thank you. That is all I needed.
Adorable mental image, and I love it. And thank you, Calista.
So, for childhood memories, Leon, for this specific one, it is, one of the days but there's not really much to do. They finished all their chores the previous day, and so it was a more or less like a rest day. Because out in the woods, there's like weekends and weekdays. It's just, days that you don't really have anything planned. So Leon decides to wake up bright and early, grabs his empty backpack, and Mr. Bun decides to go on an adventure out in the woods. So, he starts walking through, finds a cool stick, puts it in the backpack, finds a cool shiny rock as he goes over a fallen log onto a stream as he crosses it, jumps down into the puddle, dirtying his shoes and everything else, but picks up the rock, puts it in the backpack. Then as he goes, he finds cool and interesting things like a bug or a stick, interesting rock, and just sort of puts it in the backpack. And as he's carrying along these heavy items, he's starting to get slower and slower. But eventually he makes it back around night. At night, at supper, after supper is cleared away, he pulls out his backpack and shows his parents his find for the day. All the cool rocks and all the cool, just miscellaneous items.
Cool. Thank you, Sam. And Tirin.
Okay, so this particular child memory of Tirin is going to be specifically with his mother, who is not alive nowadays. When he started as a slave work when he was about 5, but this is going to take place a year after, about when he was 6, when he was doing a chore for Amryn as usual as he was doing it, and unfortunately he had broken a painting of sorts. He bumped into it by accident. He was carrying something, it dropped. He kind of got away unscathed, but Amryn was furious, so furious that he gave him more lashings than usual on that day. But even though after those many strikes with the whip he had gotten, when he returned back to the room where he was with, there was his mother. And his mother, she was middle-aged. She had long, dark brown hair, same dark gray eyes that Tirin has, a couple of freckles on her face, and wearing just simple linen clothing. And when she sees Tirin battered, whipped, and scarred, she would take him, carry him to the bed, and she would take out her own healing kit that she had, and she would help Tirin. She would bandage him up, stitch any wounds he has gained, and do her best to care for him. While Tirin was there, just looking up at the ceiling of the room, and the tears kind of flowing a little bit down, and a little bit of a small smile that he had someone that still cared for him. And till this day in the future, he still keeps a bandage that was from his mother. It's kind of now yellowed out and torn, but he still keeps it as a memento of her.
I'm glad to hear more about your mom, because we've alluded to her, and I'm glad to hear that we have a story about her. Okay, cool.
I would say a very stuck in the side of his head childhood memory was when Russo and Tirin made the choice to essentially leave everything that they had in Kirkwall and travel to Navarra in search of their father, Davin. And that trip in particular that the two went on was a very profound moment where it made them realize that they had to rely on each other to even have any hope of going further in life. And it showed Russo that he was capable of being somewhat more confident and believing in his own abilities. And when they made it there, the feeling they had was just more pure than it could have ever been.
Why not? All right. I mean, I've already used Dream one time, but it works. It's perhaps the night after the court. Or maybe a later night on. I'm not entirely sure what night it is. But for once, Daretham is not tossing in his sleep. For once, he's not cursed with nightmares of his time. He's not hearing the calling. He's not hearing the corruption that lived inside his head or seeing the things he did. Instead, though at first it seems just to be darkness, his eyes kind of open up in his own body. And he looks down, and he's maybe, how old would he be? He's maybe in his later teens, probably like 18, 19-ish. And he's back in his elven form. His ears, his darker toned skin, longer black hair, and he is rushing home. He can feel his breath panting. And as he races through the streets of Minmathos, he was given leave to go back to his parents early by his master. About the only time his master allowed it, because he actually did a very, very, very good job today. He doesn't want to think about what he was forced to do, but he hopes that it'll be worth it. He races back, diving through streets. He, at one point, there's a cart vendor that's going through with a bunch of cabbages, and he just pushes them aside as the cart vendor goes, "My cabbages!" And he pushes past, eventually reaching near the area where he knows his house is. And as he does, he doesn't hear anything. But it only lasts for about a few seconds before a cry of agony goes into the air. And his face both pales in fear but lights up in excitement at the same time as he quickly goes, unlocks the door, rushes in, and he almost stops as he enters the room as the smell of just sweat and exhaustion and blood reaches his nose. He starts to go into the room but then stops as he hears the grunting and the pained, just almost mournful yet determined wailing of agony coming from the next room. before he takes a few breaths, goes in. His father and a few other elves he sees, mostly females, are sitting there, and his father looks over. Daretham, go, get the wash bowl really quick. Yes, father. And he rushes over, grabbing it before he brings it back. One of the other female elves grabs a cloth, puts it in, starts wiping it over the form of his mother, her belly large with her current pregnancy and her birth. And the next few hours are a blur for Daretham. He starts to help. He doesn't really think about the scent of the blood or the relatively grisly sight in front of him because he's had to do grisly things of his own. For his master, he's probably seen worse. He, in fact, has seen worse and has done worse. But as he helps, there's a sense of determination to him. Because he was there for the birth before this one. And he remembers seeing the cold corpse of his little brother. And he's not going to let it happen again. And so he does all he can. He prays to Dumat, to Razakael, to Erthemiel, to all of the old gods to ensure that his mother comes forth. He prays to whatever elven god that his people prayed to. He doesn't even know the name of which, but he does so still. And eventually, after what feels like both seconds and hours, a piercing wail from tiny yet powerful lungs goes into his ears. And both he and his father, almost in unison, just stop and just listen. And his father goes forward, taking the bundle from the arms of the elven, I forget the word, but the elven nurses, effectively. And Daretham barely hears the nurse say, "It's a girl." As he just hears the crying. And Daretham smiles. He looks over. Finally, his gaze reaching the bundle that's currently a little more quiet, though still crying, in the arms of his mother and his father. And he looks down, looking probably back like he was 5 years old. "Father, Mother, can I?" And his father looks over. "Of course, Daretham. Just be very gentle, all right? She's a little smaller than she should be." "Yes, of course." And he very, very carefully, almost like holding a feather that will break with the tiniest of touch, holds his little sister. And she quiets as they look at each other, her eyes lighter than his. "Hi there." It's not the nicest place, but welcome to your new home, Saris. "Son." "What? Right." And he slowly hands Saris back. And as he sees her there, cradled in his father's arms, his mother tired, but looking with pride, all having happiness, the nurses even a few shedding tears. His mind is void of anything but happiness and a single determined thought. "I'll keep you safe, Saris. I promise." And that's it.
Thank you. Awesome. It's a beautiful moment. So I also told the players that they were welcome to ask me to do the same for another NPC. And the character that they chose was... Who? Who was
Queen
it?
Antonia!
Queen
Yeah,
Antonia.
Antonia.
Which I think is a fantastic, fantastic choice. So,
Yeah, it was that or Manfred, and it was a close. Well, and Pyrus, but we decided on Antonia.
well, I think you will find that you're going to get 2 for the price of 1 in a moment. So,
Ooh.
Queen Antonia, when she was not too young, I want to say she was 12, not quite yet 13. She, growing up as a child, always loved all the festivals that happened in Navarra City, because they seemed to have a festival for every single season: winter, fall, spring, summer. And she had a best friend who she was very close to. This best friend had beautiful, in her opinion, like beautiful brunette hair, blue eyes, and they did a lot of things together. And when the festivals came around, they would always be one of the first people who were in line at, all the shows and all of the celebrations and all that good stuff. So during the hunt balls, which actually are held in the wintertime, hunt balls are held in the wintertime, which is a reminder of Navarra's proud dragon hunting past. So during the hunt balls, there actually is a hunt competition, and which I think is interesting because it's during the colder months, and I think that Antonia and her best friend wanted to participate in these hunts, but they were too young. They couldn't sign up for it. So they basically wanted to pretend that they were out hunting along with the other hunters. And so her best friend convinced her that they would go and seek out maybe some muskrats or some squirrels or dare I say bunnies to hunt for, and just so that they could say they could participate. And they were even trying to compete with each other. I bet you I could get the bigger rabbit or the bigger possum or whatever. Unfortunately, while they were in the woods together, they ran into a Vargist, which is a distant relative of wyverns or dragons. And the confrontation with the Vargist was a terrifying experience for both of the girls. And they tried to run from the beast. The beast chased after them. Unfortunately, Antonia's best friend was pounced on by the creature and did not survive. When the creature then went for Antonia herself, she tried to defend herself from it, managed to at least wound the creature in the process. However, the wound only made the creature more ferocious. And in the end, she was rescued by a middle-aged man whom the girl Antonia ended up feeling completely indebted to. And when she asked what the man's name was, the man introduced himself as Fred. But she sort of nicknamed him Manfred because for a while she was just the man that saved them. And then she found it was Fred and she just kind of nicknamed him Manfred. As for her best friend, it devastated her. And she just never was able to let go of that completely. And she made it a personal mission for herself to somehow bring her friend back. Her friend's name was Tessa. And Tessa, like I said, had beautiful, beautiful blue eyes. And yes, that is, she was one of the main Mortalitasi who decided to start up the program to bring people back to life, which resulted in Cedric and Tessa, which is not the same Tessa that was her friend, because Tessa from season 2 was a artificial being. Tessa from season 2 is completely artificial. But a lot of Tessa's personality was based off of her childhood friend Tessa. So that is Antonia's childhood.
Dope.
Interesting.
I think Callisto, we both, as soon as he said Tessa, we were both just like, what?
It's like oh no. Oh yes, but oh no.
Oh yes, but oh no.
Wait a minute. Was Antonia part of the resurrection? What if she like has the secret?
Okay. Okay, so
I'm not deleting this recording. I'm gonna watch this back.
The trial's over. There's much joy and celebration.
Yay.
But at the same time, Archon Radonis is still at large. So you are starting to see wanted posters around. Have you seen this man? If you have, inform the authorities, yada, yada, yada. I'm sure you don't have to worry about Radonis. I'm sure that'll never come up.
Sure.
Oh no.
So it's
Don't worry about it.
Sure.
You're not gonna come
Believe
back
that. Very convincing. Sure.
You gotta start wearing disguise. No.
Watch him like reveal himself out of Valor, like I was Valor the whole time.
And I'm gonna say that maybe you guys are celebrating. Maybe some of you guys went to the bar or just out drinking or reveling or whatever. And we're gonna say that Russo, unfortunately, Tommy wasn't able to join us today. But it actually makes sense because last session was a very Russo-centric session. So we're just gonna say that Russo was just very exhausted from the trial. He's been spending the last 36 hours preparing for it. So A, he is not present because he needs to relax, and B, he can't relax completely because apparently him and Balin are moving out of Navarra. And so I'm sure they are packing and getting their affairs taken care of so they could leave the city.
Putting in letters of resignation, blah, 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 all that stuff.
Right. Okay, so that's why Russo will not pretty much be present today. However, after Russo left to turn in early, because he really wants to get to bed, I'm going to say that the stage performance of the festivals continue that evening, and lo and behold, the belly dancer is performing that night.
Yes!
And once again, the belly dancer is dressed in beautiful, beautiful purple, like veils and silks, and she's doing one of those performances where the girl is like suspended from the air with the silk. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And she's just kind of doing little tricks and dancing around and hanging from like a something that's holding up the silks. And I'm gonna say that Nathan, who is finishing up his ale, turns to Tirin and says, "Hey, Tirin, that dancer over there, she was looking at you from up there."
I think she's always doing that, as I am probably drinking some water of sorts. She really has been looking at me every single time.
"You should say hi," Nathan says.
I should, actually, to be honest. I saw her again a couple of nights ago, and she's been eyeing me, but I have a job to do, and now since we are free and we're not have a trial and a case to do, yeah, but don't know, I kind of look at my hands, which, as we remember from last time, they got burnt to hell. Now they're bandaged up. I sip some water.
Could I happen to be nearby and overhear this?
You're all are together.
Okay.
You're all you're at a table maybe outdoors having some drinks, and then Rousseau just excused himself. So you're all together.
Okay. So then I would hear that and kind of look over, glancing between the two. Someone caught your eye, Tirin.
Yes. That is it the young woman technically? Yeah.
Yeah. She looks like she might be in her 20s. 20s.
Okay. I point at her. I kind of do like a head motion towards the belly dancer. That young woman has been around since the first festival we had back in Antiva, and let's say there's
it's been a good few days then.
Yeah, and she has been eyeing me, and I have been eyeing her a bit. I don't know who she is, in truth, and I've thought about talking to her, but let's say a little bit of shyness and a little bit of work cut up. Why?
Well, the latter is expected. But, kind of pauses, and he gets a flash of red hair. Take it from someone who very much understands your early life. If you ever have the chance to find happiness and a partner, don't waste it. Every second is precious.
Kind of give like a tilted head towards Derriton, and I kind of say, did you ever find that part of yourself then?
Though you can't necessarily see his smile, you can almost see the hood itself do that sad, wistful smile. I did. A long time ago.
Dartham, you had a girlfriend?
My wife, yes.
A wife? Wow. But at that point, Nathan's voice kind of saddens a little bit, and you said you did?
Yes.
Did it have anything to do with the fire, if you don't mind me asking?
And there's a distinct, pretty much everyone would see his hand just slightly twitch a little bit. That's one way to put it.
So I kind of put a hand on Nathan's shoulders, it's best, not much should be mentioned of our past, unfortunately.
I understand. I wasn't trying to pry.
No, it's fine. It's a valid question.
I'm sorry for your loss, Dertham.
Yeah.
I am too.
But, sort of nudges Tirin. You should go check out on your patient.
Besides, only one way to get rid of the shyness. Just go up and say, "What's her name?"
Sounds like, Nathan says, sounds like Dartham might be offering to be your wingman, Tirin.
I think I would be a little unsettling to her.
Tirin just stands up. Well, I'm being a little bit peer pressured here, but I was going to do this, so...
Good luck.
You could also bring Pasha, Nathan says.
Nathan, would you want Josie to be there if you were... yeah, I would know about Josie, right?
Rosie?
Oh wait, Jody. I combined Rosie and Jody for some reason. Okay. Nathan, would you want your mother to be there if you were talking to a girl? No offense, Pasha, but you give off a very motherly vibe.
I know exactly what you mean. I don't take that as an insult.
Well, at least you four should, or whoever's there, of course. I think I'm
Three.
counting four.
4, yeah.
Enjoy yourselves for the night anyway, and I'll catch you a little bit later.
Good luck.
Enjoy yourself, Tirin.
Make sure she enjoys it too.
Oh no.
I look back behind deck. Everyone just give them a thumbs up and then just continue on.
You'll get over to the thumbs up, and it looks like the dancer is finishing up her current routine. There's a lot of hooting and hollering from the crowds, especially men. They who seem to be particularly enamored by this young woman, and she finally, drops down very acrobatically. So this woman is very fit and flexible, and etc. 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 Tirin, and
And with those daggers, he's got a lot of range. You could say a lot of.
there you go.
No.
And so she gives a very flourishing vow, and she will start to make her way off the stage. But as she's walking off the stage, again, your eyes will meet. And what happens?
Well, I'm going to try and make my way off stage. I hope that I'm allowed, since I'm the local kind of doctor of the caravans. So I'm kind of going to go off stage. Gonna follow her.
Yeah, she'll drop down. She will remove the veil, because when she dances, part of her costume, she has like a veil, but she actually does take that off, and there might be like a flask or a pitcher of water or something, but she's going to pour herself a drink of water, and she'll take a big gulp of it before she puts it down, and she says, "Hello."
Why hello there, miss. I suggest as a doctor you don't drink too much water unless you want to have your stomach giving you cramps for the show.
You gotta keep yourself hydrated. Dancing definitely can work up quite a sweat.
Understandable.
You say you're a doctor?
Well, yes, I'm the local doctor around here in this caravan. Tirin Seedoff.
Nice to meet you, she says as she holds out her hand. Diana.
Diana. You do this quite often. I kind of look at the stage.
Which is, well, if I was being completely honest, the hanging act is kind of new for me. It's a routine that I've seen others do in the past, and I always wanted to try it. So I figured, what doesn't kill me, right?
I can say that much. Though you do seem to be quite skilled no matter what. So you handle yourself quite well.
She says, "Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Are you originally from Navarra? I thought I recognized you from Antiva."
No, actually, not Navarran, not Antivan, no. Don't know if you catch the accent. Technically to Winter.
Oh, she says, "I see." And I mean, at that point, she notices the ears, and so she it's. I wouldn't say it's awkward, but I think she's starting to put two and two together. You can see in her head that she's the gears are turning.
Don't worry, I'm not from Tevinter anymore anyway. It's an old home now. Left it a year ago. Been wandering around the Anderfells, mostly, till now.
Wow. So did you used to be... How did you escape then? If you don't mind me asking.
I kind of do this tilted head, and as she kind of puts the two and together, says, You found out.
Well, you said you're from Tevinter, and I mean, she said, sort of trying really hard not to do it in a offensive way, but like sort of gesturing to the ears.
Yeah, elf to winter generally equals slave. I know. Not many do have caught that attention though. Many guess that I'm just from young elven kid from an alienage of sorts maybe, or from the slums. But good eye, I have to say.
Not as good as yours, she says, like flashing you a smile.
I give a chuckle. Well, touche. Well, in terms of the whole escaping, it took a little bit of planning, a little bit of skill, and maybe some luck. And got out of the winter and came originally to the Anderfels, as I said, before I arrived with good Sir Ignaldo's traveling caravan.
So you're officially with the circus as well?
I'm a helper, technically. So my job anyway, I'm a doctor, so I tend to any of the injured, wounded. If you get a sprained ankle, I generally am there to take care of that.
Wow. I wish I had you around the other day when I sprained my ankle then.
Ah, that night?
I beg your pardon?
Oh, the couple of nights, was it a night ago or two? You were dancing at the...
I thought I saw you. I couldn't 100% tell because whatever you were wearing, it was kind of hard to pick you out.
I was doing a night and my night out, so I decided to go a little bit, cloaked up. So
I see, she says. It just seemed a little out of place, but I didn't really think much of it, really. Most people nowadays are dressed in very bright colors for the festival, so...
I had some business to attend, and that was why.
Oh, I see. You're a very mysterious person, Mr. Seedoff, she says.
I kind of chuckle. You can call me Tirin. There's no need to call me Mr. Seedoff. That sounds too formal. Not that man. So, Tirin is fine. Tirin Seedoff, whatever you want.
While they're having this conversation, Nathan, from afar, back at the table, is sort of like watching the two of you, and he says, "Okay, so who wants to place their bets?"
With the laugh, I'm going to say... And he thinks for a little bit. They go out on at least 2 dates.
2 dates?
I'm gonna say 2.
I don't know. I think I want to give Tirin a little more credit than that, so I would say...
2 or more, I should say, to caveat that. But at least 2.
Alright. I'm gonna say at least 3. Leon, Pasha, do you guys want to get in on this?
I'm going to say 1, and then he starts making excuses about work.
That is kind of realistic as well.
Fair point, Pasha. You probably have us there.
I'm probably going to have to side with Pasha on this one, but being in the circle, did not have a lot of contact with love and that sort of thing. So I don't know.
I think it would be good for Tirin, so I'm gonna be the optimist.
Yeah, and Darthan would just jet in. I guess Pasha's the realist. I'll be the boring middle one.
Can we agree to throwing 5 silver pieces into this wager, and whoever wins gets to collect the pot?
5 silver.
5 silver it is.
I feel a little confident. I'll go for 6.
Oh.
6.
Oh man.
I guess that means the rest of us have to raise it up to 6 as well, correct?
My guess with Pasha's guess, so it's all up to Pasha. She was the first one to.
Well, I guess if you both have the same answer, you will end up splitting if you win. You just split. the winnings. Meanwhile, back with Tirin and Diana. So the conversation, I'd like to say, is Tirin being flirty, just out of curiosity? Or is he being just very professional? Or...
He's being casual. He's being casual. He might
Okay.
put a little flirt, but not much.
Okay.
But he does ask her, where are you from? I can't get the accent in the notice, so...
Well, I'm originally from Cumberland, actually.
Cumberland? I kind of raise an eyebrow, like Tirin raises an eyebrow.
Yes. She says, it's a port city in Navarra. Not that far from here. Not too far from here.
So you're...
Along the Waking Sea?
Yes, I might have passed there a bit, maybe once. So you kind of think for a bit. I might have passed, maybe. Actually, no, I wouldn't. It's too far away. I generally scroll around. Used to scroll on the Anderfell borders, so nothing much far.
It's a beautiful place, especially the harbors. Maybe you could see it sometime.
Maybe if I ever get the time, maybe. I do like to travel around. I do want to see more sights, you can say.
Oh. Well, is there any particular sights while you're in Navarra City that you wanted to see?
Tirin kind of thinks for a bit. I mean, there hasn't been much sights like town of Navarra City, but I would like to. I've heard the necropolis. Though I haven't been much there. And I know they don't allow us inside, but maybe peek outside. Maybe. That might be.
You mentioned that necropolis is a site very romantic, Tirin, very romantic. And her expression, not changes a little bit. Like, that's an interesting choice. But she remains polite. You can tell that she's remaining polite, maybe because she likes you. I don't know. And
did I say a bad location? I mean,
no. I mean, obviously, a lot of people go to Navarra City, and the necropolis is quite a landmark here. So it makes sense. It makes 100% sense.
Any other sites you might suggest? Because I honestly don't know much about Navarra City, unfortunately. I am, like I said, newcomer, so...
The lake near the city, where a lot of the other festivals around the calendar year occur, I hear is beautiful as well.
That'd be interesting. I haven't seen many lakes before, considering how Anderfell is like, mostly desert.
Oh, are you a water person? Do you like to swim?
I've been near the kind of port areas before. I haven't swam much, but I do like the kind of refreshingness of when you kind of look at the lake or the waters. It gives you that ease.
I'm going to say that while you're saying that, maybe some of the guys who are watching in the crowd, these big burly men, you can smell alcohol coming from them, sort of rudely interrupts your conversation, and they attempt to be getting Diana's attention. And Diana is looking at them and saying, "Oh, hi," and they're kind of they're starting to say, "Hey, baby, great performance," and they seem to be infringing upon her space, her personal space, and you can see that Diana's trying really hard to be polite and trying to get rid of them since. So I don't know if you do anything or say anything. Otherwise,
I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna look at them and say, "Hey, you do know you're getting right in front of her, A little bit of space."
You talking to me, Knife Ear?
Knife Ear. Really? Yes, I'm talking to you, drunk.
His buddy says, "Look, man, like, we weren't talking to you, so just mind your business and bugger off." And he actually like shoves you like aside.
Daratham's hand clenches around his staff. He kind of looks over to Pasha, raising like one eyebrow.
Pasha, Pasha just like puts her hand up, like, we give it a minute. If it looks like it's in danger, then we jump in.
I've got a spell that could help him discreetly.
That
What's
didn't
the
really work out in
spell?
the courtroom very well.
Well, it'll just make it so that if hit, he won't get hit very hard. So we'll just last a little longer. I cast it on Rousseau when we were in the cave with the dragon.
Let's maybe go for intimidation over magic.
I thought you were suggesting some kind of spell. I mean, Nathan has guns. He can just shoot them.
But no, we want him to like save her, or make it so that he's fighting for her honor. That's much more romantic than.
While they're conversing and planning what's going on secretly behind Tirin, or away from Tirin, Tirin just going to, as you get check shoved away, kind of looks at, hey man, listen, the lady wants her private space, and the space is important. So, how about you let her go, talk to her normally, and maybe be a little bit less drunk. Drink some water. That'll help you out better.
I'm gonna say that the two start to move towards your direction, and they're just they're starting to close in on you, and I think that you'll notice that the two of them are starting to walk into a position to flank you. How do you react?
I look over at Diana, and I just kind of say, and I kind of mouth, run.
Okay. Go ahead. What's going on, Leon?
Could I make a stealth check to stealthily cast the spell?
Could I assist him in the stealth check?
Sure, if you want to.
I just want to give the +2 or whatever.
Yeah, I would like to cast heroic defense. Would you like me to make like a stealth check first, then?
Okay.
Because I want it to like stealthily, sort of appear on him.
Sure. Total 23. Okay, all right. Yeah,
Wow.
Nobody is going to notice.
With
that you're
4 stun
casting.
points, and that's not including the extra +2, so it's 25 with 4 stun points.
So I'm going to cast heroic defense.
Okay.
With
Yes,
6
and
stun points
6
on a
stun
spell
points.
stun. Save those for chakra. Save
Okay.
those for chakra.
Yeah,
Yeah.
save those for your chakra if you want.
So now Tirin has a +5 to defense and +2 armor.
Okay,
For 2 rounds.
so suddenly, Tirin, he's waiting in like a kind of brawling stance, kind of like his fists are ready, and then suddenly just feels like a surge of energy. Just go, what the?
You feel more sturdy.
All right. So you told Diana to run, and she seems torn. Like, you tell her to run, but I don't know if she wants to run. So for right now, she's staying put.
2 dates for sure.
So one of the guy closes in on Tirin. They are now flanking you, and he's gonna go in for a punch towards your face.
Okay.
So let's see. He's drunk. So
Is there a drunk condition?
No, there's not, unfortunately. But technically, it would be like a -1 or 2 penalty, maybe.
Would it be like hindered or fatigued, maybe?
yeah, I'm just gonna lower his normal stats. So he rolled a 6.
It's a miss.
It's a miss.
As I kind of block away, I just and just for self-defense, which is appropriate, just gives a punch back.
Yeah. Just go ahead and roll to see if you
No.
connect at least.
And
Funny
you have
thing-
high strength.
Well, no, it's actually dexterity to punch someone with brawling.
Oh, okay.
And I had
Well,
the-
you have high dex.
And I also had the brawling focus. So I have
Okay.
a +7. So here's my fist punch.
17 with 3 stun points. Lightning attack.
Nice. That'll hit. Where are you aiming? His jaw, his gut, where are you aiming?
I'm aiming at the gut to stagger him.
Okay.
And then with the 3 stun points, I will
Lightning attack, right?
Actually, no. I'm going to do something different. I'm going to spend 2 to mighty blow him, and then spend 1 to get a chakra point.
Skirmishing.
Okay.
I'm gonna get myself chakra point just for it.
Oh, give one.
Nice.
Yeah. And then
Alright, so you... Total damage you said was?
well, it's my 1d3 plus 3, which is my fist 5, and then
5? Okay.
1
Does that include the
stick.
extra strength bonus from like stuff?
Yep. So
9.
9 total. Punch him right in the gut.
Okay, so you do connect. Ugh. The guy grunts as you hit him The other guy who came from behind comes up to you to grapple you from behind. So would that be a strength versus his dex? Acrobatics, I think?
Sure. That could be. Yeah.
Like strength might versus dex acrobatics.
Strength might.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alright. So I got an 18.
Ooh.
Alright. I got 15.
15.
Alright. So now he's grappled you and he's sort of like binding your arms behind him so that basically the other guy can take a free lick, a free hit. So he's going to, now that he's got you bound and you're flanked essentially, he's going to take a swing. 15, does that...
No, 20 defense now thanks to the other defense.
Nice! 20 defense.
Does he punch the other guy behind him?
If it was a critical fail, he would have.
Dang.
It was a critical fail.
I'm imagining Tirin just lifts his legs up as he just kind of whiffs the punch, and then at the same time he's gonna the kick, the up as he kind of lifts his legs up. He just like does a kick towards the guy who tried to punch him.
Okay.
So
Sweet. So yeah, you get to go ahead. You get to react then.
this is my
It's your
kick.
19.
19.
nice.
And that is a total of 5 damage again as I kind of just lift my legs up and I connect my legs into his chest, pushing him away.
Nice. Okay. So you're kicking the guy who is about to hit you again.
Yep.
All right.
Daretham started to stand up and was about to release a paralyze spell as he saw Tirin grapple, but then he sees the kick and he winces.
Maybe he doesn't need our help.
I was gonna say, Nathan says he's doing pretty well for himself.
Let him fight his own battles. He's perfectly capable.
Fair enough.
And he sits back down.
Tirin, okay. So when you kick the guy, you actually kick him back. He falls against like a table, an outdoor table, and he crashes and he seems like he's out. This by this point causes everyone around you to now notice that there's like a fight happening. And I'm gonna say that just in general, people are starting to react and gasp and and somebody says, "Find a guard! Somebody find a guard!"
Could I make a bluff check?
Okay, go ahead. To do what?
I'm
Look at
really
the show. It's
Part of the
look
show.
at the show. It's so interactive. Whoa! You can see the actors are really putting their all into this.
I was gonna
Okay.
say, I was hoping they're like, I'll go find a guard, and he just stays sat down at the table. Like,
I'm not even gonna help you, Leon, because I don't believe in this endeavor.
Okay.
Wow.
So you're trying to convince people that this is a part of the show
Yeah.
somehow. Okay. Well, so with the 17, that's decently convincing. So I think a lot of people who are going to go find a guard are hesitating. So does Pasha do anything?
Pasha, can Pasha take a good look at the guys? Just because, like, how they were talking to the girl, she's having flashbacks to how Rainier spoke to her. So she's like, "Is this Rainier? Is one of them Rainier?" Because she like, okay,
no.
good. She like,
None of
she
them are.
sits back and is like, "I'm not gonna get involved in this fight. I'm fine."
Okay.
We'll bail Tirin out if he gets in trouble.
All right. So I'm gonna say, roll a might check, Tirin. Unopposed might. I got a 12.
Okay. This is my fire bonus also. I got a 16 with
3 stun
Nice.
points.
So Cool. The guy was trying to take you to the ground, basically. The guy who had you from behind is trying to take you to the ground, but you managed to struggle to keep yourself up. And I'm gonna say that Diana's gonna say, should I get help?
No need. And as I kind of say, no need. I'm going to use the back of my head. We're going to launch my head back, trying to hit the guy back in the nose.
Nice. Go ahead and roll an attack roll. Unarmed strike attack roll, I guess.
Yeah. Ooh, 13 with
two stun points.
Oh shit! I forgot. Because we're in this nighttime, it's -1 because of the attack rolls.
Right.
So
right.
12. My bad. I've been doing that wrong.
12. All right. So you're gonna try to hit him, but
wait, that only because he's not wearing armor. So that means if he has 2 dex or less, and if he's minused from being drunk,
that'll hit him then. Yeah, that's fair. So how much damage you do?
Damage-wise, with 2 stun points, we're gonna. I'll spend those 2 for another mighty blow, since this is like kind of the back.
5.
Hey?
What? A d6. Fuck.
Okay.
Cool.
6.
All right. He's the guy. Okay, so the second guy, he is physically strong, but he doesn't have as much hit points, so he actually like gets knocked out by that, and he collapses and falls over.
And I kind of like do like this. It's gonna hurt.
Diana's gonna rush up to you, and she's going to like, like grab you by the shoulders and say, "Are you okay, Tirin?"
I'm good. No, I'm good. I'm good. It's gonna hurt a little bit.
Maybe we need to find a doctor, she said, smiling.
You're staring at one right now.
She says, "I know, it was a joke, silly."
I know, yeah. Oh, those two are gonna have the love of their night. All right, let's. And I kind of look around as people are watching.
Yeah, there's a whole group of people are watching you confused because they're not sure if they saw an actual bar fight or if this redheaded kid is convincing enough to say it. Go ahead.
Pasha nudges Leon and starts. Bravo! Bravo!
Yeah! Good show! Good show!
The rest of the audience notices this and they're like, "Oh, okay, good show! Wow, that was amazing."
And if Tirin looks back, they see like 4 people all going.
You hear one of the other members of the crowd go, "I could have done that."
I kind of just kind of give like a slight bow and then kind of taking down. And we're gonna like kind of go behind, like back in like behind the stage, and I just go, "Okay, well that happened."
Maybe I should get you some ice, she says.
Tirin kind of puts his hand up before he kind of says something, and he goes, "Sure, that's fine. I wouldn't mind that."
I insist. And she'll go over to the pitcher, and because that had the water, and we'll say that there was ice in the pitcher, and she goes and takes one of the silk scarves that she has, and she sort of like wraps the ice in, and then she goes over to you and she just very like daintily, just puts it onto your head and says, "Does that feel better?"
Cold, but better than having a fight at least.
Well, you didn't have to do that, by the way, but thank you.
Well, I saw those guys were a little bit drunk, and I don't like when people try to like get into other people's spaces, especially personal ones.
Well, I appreciate it. Those guys were really annoying the snot out of me.
Well, if you want to get away from them before they wake up, we can go to the lake.
That actually sounds nice.
I offer her my hand. Shall we?
Okay. She'll take it.
Yeah, and we'll make our way to the lake, and I kind of look.
All right, so you're gonna walk over.
There's this shot of them walking out, and then Nathan, Leon, Tasha, and Daretham anime going, "Yeah!"
Or wait, high five.
Okay. Cool. So they're gonna make their way over to the lake, and the rest of the table are just gonna watch. They're not gonna. All right.
I kind of look over.
Job well done, team.
So does that count as the first date?
Yes.
Nathan
yes,
asks.
that's-
Okay.
Well, not that, but they're going on it, I can tell. So, they are on their first date.
I wonder where they're off to. It looks like they're going towards the direction of the city gates.
Oh, I hope Tirin didn't talk about the necropolis.
Oh no.
Or that creepy laboratory we found in the woods. You don't think he'd take it to see that?
Oh no. Well, there's blood magic abounds. Hopefully, well, I trust Tirin, but
Isn't that a crime, though?
So what do you guys want to do? Nathan says we probably are going to be leaving as soon as Rousseau is packed up. Is there any last final businesses you want to do in the city before we get out?
Well, we want to research into the Pentagast so we can figure out if they know anything about this dragon business. And didn't we mention the Grand Necropolis? We wanted to look into that.
yeah, there's a number of things I'd like to research, but there's a festival going on tonight. Do you want to join the festivities and then work on it tomorrow?
It's fine by me.
I say a job well done. Let's go find some sweet things.
Yeah, I saw like a sticky bun thing, like just down the street a little bit.
Pasha stands up and starts walking in the direction Leon pointed.
Daretham is like, Daretham starts to go.
Well, if it's alright with everyone, I think I go, wait, Pasha, what are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, you gotta follow for those sticky buns. I mean, I can smell them from a mile away. They're like super cinnamony.
Cinnamon.
I can smell them.
While you guys are at the, are getting some sticky buns. So there's sticky buns, there's cinnamon rolls.
Oh, also, side note, Daretham would have said that, but he doesn't say, like, I could smell them, I can, and they're definitely too far out of range for, like, a normal human to be able to smell them. That's a minor note if anyone picks up on it.
So, okay, cool. The stand has sticky buns, cinnamon rolls, and some custard tarts. And I think Nathan's going to help himself and purchase some custard tarts. And while you guys are munching on whatever fine sweets you are having, you'll hear Pasha, a voice call out, "Hey, Toots!"
She's eating, and then her mouth just... and the slow turn of... Who said this to me?
Pasha, are you okay?
You turn and you will see Tom Rainier behind you.
I think in Qnat she says, "Speak of the devil and he shall appear." And then in common, "Hello again, Mr. Rainier." Just the eye twitching.
Leon's gonna slowly back away, just ever
This
so
doesn't
slightly.
look...
I say in Ancient Veen,
This doesn't look good.
Leon's,
So, where's Rousseau?
Mr. Alren is currently resting after the trial. If you have a message, I would love to pass it along to him.
That's fine. I'll just deal with you then. It's easy enough, I guess. Alright, listen, Toots. So, you were there. You remember the last time we talked that, if you guys won your trial, that I was gonna get a cut of your winnings. So you got 10 severs for the trial. So he's gonna say, if you remember, your boss or whatever said that I would get a portion of the winnings. I think we said 50%. You didn't say anything. You did not say 50%, but that's what he said. I think he said 50%.
Pasha kind of sachets closer to... She hands off the bun with Leon. She just smacks it down into his hand like, "Hold my food."
Hold my food.
hold my beer, please.
Hold my beer, basically.
And she is going to sachet, very visible wiggle of her hips, up to him. And she's, now, Mr. Rainier, surely you got paid in advance. 2 sovereigns just to testify? Surely that's more than enough.
That's not what your boss said, though. He promised me that I'd get a cut. I'm pretty sure he said 50%.
Did he? I think your memory's playing tricks on you, sir.
Oh, okay. So when I'm giving my testimony, my memory is crystal clear. Now that I'm asking for money, all of a sudden my word and memory means nothing to you.
Pasha starts sliding her finger up and down his shoulder.
Okay.
You know, up and down his arm.
Darathan sees this, and an ancient divine goes,
Arentes Ningundad. Why did this make me more terrified?
Leon's going to reply back with, I think that he's going to lose that arm real quick, so